and like your goal is to get a 0 at the end. So the idea is, okay, bring the 1 down. 1 times 3 is 3, add. Minus 15 times 3 is minus 45, add. So it's k minus 45. And then you multiply by 3, 3k minus 135. You add and get 3k minus 150, and you want this to equal 0.
Oh,
So unless you'd seen this problem before, I would agree you'd have no idea how to do it. I mean, maybe there's a homework in there somewhere. I'm not sure. I mean, you can also put a little blame on me. I mean, I knew that this was a common test question, but I just never brought it up. Um,
yeah, because I don't think it was in any of the homeworks, anything that we did.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that was also a common question that among our class that we got like wrong. But I don't think a lot of people knew what to do with that question. Um,
A hint would have been helpful. Um, you know, like, hey, use synthetic division. Maybe that would have been enough. I'm not sure. All right. So next problem here, number 4.
I think the
Uh,
problem with the first one is I didn't state any multiplicities. Like,
yeah, kind of obvious though from the way you wrote the answer what the multiplicities are. Like they're 1. Although oh, I see. You don't have all the roots though. There should be 4 total roots. I see what you did. Let's see. Yeah. Um, so for number 4, like one way to show it is to actually show the repeated roots. And then the other way is to actually like root and multiplicity or make it a little table here. -3 is a multiplicity of 2, -2 is 1, 2 is 1, something like that.
got it.
All right, so it looks like maybe the next one, what happened on the next one here? 2x to the 4th. Okay. When you get the problem, you wrecked doing real well up to here. Your first thought cannot be to go to synthetic division. This right here, this 2x to the 4th plus 16x, that's really good. You want to factor out a GCF though,
Got it. So you can factor out, like, for example, 2.
2x.
Right, yeah, 2x because there's an x as well.
Yeah.
Got it. And then from there, you would do
So how do you factor the in parentheses? Oh, yeah.
you would
Do you
put
recognize what that is?
yeah, so you would put 2x in parentheses x cubed plus 2 cubed,
That is correct. Yeah, but sum
and
of
then
cubes.
although that you put 2x on the outside, and then x plus 2, and then x squared minus 2x plus 4. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the preferred way to do it, not synthetic division. So you said 2x equal to 0, x plus 2 equal to
So
0.
0, then x squared minus 2x plus 4 equal to 0, which then you would have to
That's where
use.
you're using the quadratic formula. So could you do that part for us, please?
So 8 is 1.
How are you doing on this one?
Um, Good, almost done. I got x equals 1 plus or minus 8.
Well, it's always a complex root. Inside there, it's inside the parentheses, and this time is the square root of -12. It's always a complex root. This doesn't factor. It always ends up being quadratic formula with a complex root. Take a look. Maybe you just didn't get -12 there.
Yeah, I did not get -12 there. I got 64 from multiplying the -2 times -2, then the -4 times 4 and
You're
multiplying those two
it's
together.
b squared minus 4ac. So your b is -2. Squaring that 4 times the 1 times the 4. It's 4 minus 16 inside there.
And multiplied those two. That's why. All right, yeah, then it would be 12, yeah.
So this becomes, go ahead and try simplifying from here. It looks like the similar issue and a problem down the way here, maybe.
Would it be 1 plus or minus root of -12?
I root.
I
So no,
root
no.
because
So
it's a -12, yeah.
well, the -12 that reduces. I mean, it's 1 plus or minus I squared root of 12. So the square root of 12 becomes 2 and 6, 2 and 3. When you build this factor tree, a 2 comes out.
So you
So
can
it's
take that
2,
2 and then put
2I root 3, divide both by 2. So you get 1 plus or minus I root 3.
got it.
So what if you did this long enough, and I kind of alluded to this in one of our lessons, like you would see a pattern. The pattern is, and this applies to number 8. The 1 and the 1I, it's always the same number in front. Like whatever that first number is, that number also appears there. It's always the square root of 3. It's the nature of the way the root is, with the numbers working together. They always work together to make that.
Got it.
Okay. So kind of addressed number 8. Number 10. What do you think happened on number 10?
Number 10.
Like you've got the what's called the leading term, the degree is even.
Yeah, I think the only re reason why I got number 10 wrong is because I assumed it was already in standard form, so I took the 8 from 9x to the 8 instead of looking at that it wasn't in standard form like completely then.
Okay. Yeah, it has to be, you have to scan for that leading term there. All right. Okay, we did some problems like 11,
Yeah,
I
11,
think.
I think I got an error or something like that. So I wanted to come back to it, but I didn't really had enough time to.
We're getting closer to kind of getting matched up with what the teacher is testing here. So let's try this here. Let me see if I can figure out where maybe you went awry on the. All right, so 1 4i minus 1 plus 4i. So when you multiply this in here, you get 16i squared, which becomes minus 16 minus 4i minus 2 minus 4i. So we're looking good so far. And then it becomes minus 8 minus 16i squared. So positive 16 minus 8i. So that becomes minus 8i. And then that is where the mistake is. So I guess you just didn't write the negative. That's what it is. You didn't write negative 16. That's all it is. Just a
Oh,
transcription error.
got it.
Oh man. I mean, I might go and argue for some points on that, but um, why don't you convince yourself that negative 4i works here, the next line? You should get 0 at the end.
Yeah, I got it too. At the end, yeah. So I got one, then minus one, minus two, and zero.
Right. So here we go. We got x squared minus x minus 2. Can you try factoring that for us, please?
Okay, so second.
Do you have something for me on this?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Were you able to factor this?
Give me a second. I'm almost.
Okay.
I got x minus 2x plus 1.
So if I asked for the factored form, you have it here. If I asked for the roots, it would be 2, negative 1, 4i, and minus 4i.
Got it.
Okay. Uh, you made this note on the top of question 16. Does that indicate that you didn't have enough time?
On top of number 16. Yeah, I was that was like right before the time ran out.
Yeah, that's not a good feeling. Yeah. Um, Any chance to get more time on these exams? Even just another 5-10 minutes would really help you out.
Um, I don't think so.
Like, I'll just suggest that you don't give it to them. You make them take it from you so you can keep working as long as possible. Anything you can do would help you. Like, you're right. I mean, a little more time would help on most of this. So the degree is, well, you've got an x to the 1 in the first one. You've got an x squared in the middle term and an x squared in the, well, not term, but in the middle piece, the third piece. This ends up giving you a fifth degree, so it didn't like mess you up for the rest of the problem, which is good. Um, but definitely, like maybe that's what it caused. Maybe just like the first two and yeah, moved on. Uh, let's see, you're factoring. All right, so why don't you? It looks like you didn't factor this one. You didn't factor either of these correctly. Do you want to give those another shot here at factoring these two
Yeah,
that I've boxed in?
probably.
Probably from
Yeah, I
rushing.
think I was just rushing, so I didn't get the right factors. X. Oh, yeah, I realized what I did wrong with first factor. Uh, so that would for the first one, I got x plus 4, x minus 3.
Yep, that
For
works. That works.
correct,
Keep.
yeah. Then for
Yep,
the
really
second
good.
one would be yeah, wouldn't it still be x minus 6, x plus 1?
6 and -1 do not multiply to positive 6.
Oh, no, yeah, that'd be negative.
Yeah, keep trying. You get it.
So that's positive. Oh, okay. Um, x minus 5, x minus 1. No, wait, that would be, I don't know,
That
that would
doesn't work
be
either.
6. Oh, yeah, there isn't. No. X minus 3, x minus 2.
Okay. So this is we will graph this one. Did you get that right? 336. Yeah, you got that right. Okay. So your x-intercepts here, you've got them at 3, -4, and 2. You really should include your multiplicities. You can see there are 1, 2, 3, x minus 3, so that's got multiplicity of 3, which means it still crosses, but it's got a little like horizontal thing on there or a little horizontal thing on there. I wouldn't be that picky if I were grading you on that, but your teacher could be. So we got 3, 2, 3, and -4. And then, like you said, you got 0, 2, 16 up here. That was correct. Because it's degree 3, you know that it starts low and ends high, especially since the leading coefficient is positive, um, which you said earlier. So at -4, it crosses at 2. It also crosses at 3. It does kind of this sideways thing. No way to get that right if you didn't factor it right. I think that's why you only
Yeah.
lost a point because maybe you graphed the one that you wrote down correctly, which I think is actually pretty reasonable. So that's why you gotta be careful when you go to your instructor and ask for more points. They could also deduct points and say, well, you didn't actually graph this one right, so I'm going to take 2 away. I'll give you the 2 for the one that you came and asked for. Looks like you need to brush up on some jokes. Um, all right. I mean, I'm seeing improvement. but it's direction, not perfection. How do you feel about it?
On some of these, it definitely would have had to take a little bit more time and actually like carefully think about the question and actually answer it properly. Number 11 and 3, maybe like more practice with different types of questions might have helped. Like different types of questions, because and yeah, maybe just get more practice maybe would probably help. But yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot here. There's a lot here. Okay. What else?
Uh, so today we did start the second part of chapter 4. And
Okay.
yesterday we did 4.10 writing equations, and today we did 4.11 graphing with the calculator. And let me pull up the, all right, so let me share this. Let me download it. So here it is. It's in the chat now.
All right, just got it. Some more graphing. Oh my God. These look like maybe calculator problems.
Yeah.
All right.
And then
We can do
if
these.
you look
We
if you
can do
look
these.
down,
Yeah.
maybe like I think there are a few questions like number 3 on the back side or the second page of the homework. At the bottom, there
Oh,
are some
you,
like that are not like number 3.
do you have
And
your TI 83, 84?
yeah,
Okay. I should really help you with graphing. I've got a virtual TI 83, 84
got it.
to show you how to graph. Okay. You have your calculator out?
One sec. Yeah.
All right. Let me just a moment here to get caught up. So I've got an 83. If you've got an 84, it'll be very minimally different. I can grab the 84 virtual thing here if it's really necessary, but usually it's not for what we're doing. So you should be seeing my screen. You want to go to y equals and type in the function there, x cubed minus 3x squared minus 105x minus 101. Is that okay? You have that entered?
Yeah.
All right, now if you just graph it, which is not the right thing to do. You never want to just graph it, but I'm gonna hit the graph button. You probably won't see anything. Well, you kind of see something. You see boom, boom, don't know. Okay. So the next thing you can do here is you can do what's called a zoom fit, which is if you go all the way down, zoom fit like
Yeah,
that.
I think what we did in class was we did like the window thing where you like move or you like put in different
Right.
numbers to
We're gonna do
change
that,
the
but this is a good like first guess. Let the calculator do the work. Okay. So when you hit that, what it'll do is it'll attempt to draw it and it'll give you better. Okay. This is still not good enough, but it's better. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Okay. So now you can go to the window and you're right. You need to go more out to the right,
So you basically
maybe a
have the
little more.
calculator do the basic thing and then you add it, you gotta
Yes.
go in there and move the numbers a little bit to
Yeah.
wherever you need it. Yeah.
So I'm going to go up a little. I'm going to go down a little, but right a little. Now, that's always the question. Well, how much do we go? Well, you either double or go by a factor of 10. I like nice increments, so maybe I'll go minus 1,000 on this, and then I'll go up to 1,000. I kind of prefer a square window. Your scale should be like dividing by 10 on the axes, so maybe by 100. Otherwise, you get that thick line going down the middle.
Got it.
So so use these. Let me know when you've got them, and then you hit graph again. It should look a lot cleaner in your window.
Minus 10, 20, minus 1,000. All right. Yeah.
So you could argue it's I went up too far, maybe. I mean, but this is pretty good. I mean, you see everything you need to see in this. Okay. So that's what your teacher is looking for roughly. Okay. So we're gonna go back to
I think here she just wants us to write whatever minimum,
yeah,
maximum scale that
right.
we put down. So minimum.
Yeah. So I went minus 10 to 20, X scale of 1. Y min was minus 1,000, Y max 1,000, and 100. Like I feel like this is good enough, but your teacher might argue that you went up too far. I mean, it's a little bit of a death. So to find the other stuff on the graph, we got to find the features of the graph. So um, you need to figure out the intercepts. You need any of the mins and the maxes. So I'm going to show you how to do that in the calculator now. Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right. So let's start with the zeros. So or the x-intercepts. So you're gonna go to second calc, which is under trace, and you're gonna go down to 0, number 2. Let me know when you get there.
Yeah, I'm there.
Okay, you hit enter, and it should say left bound. So what left means is you want to go left of where there's a 0. You do not have to trace like this. Maybe on Thursday I can show you more advanced ways to do it, but you just need to get left of it. In this case, left is below, but you just need to get left of it. We're gonna do the first one. You hit enter. Then you go to the right of it, somewhere right of it. Doesn't need to be way right, doesn't need to be right on it, but just right of it. Hit enter. And you always guess at the exact same place that you were. So this one doesn't have very nice ones. Minus 8
I
point
think
two
she wants us
five.
to do it to the 10th if it ends up
Okay.
like this. So the 10th would
Yes.
be negative
So get that down. I'm
2.
snipping a few things into the other screen so you can have those as notes later on. All right. Next is to do the same thing. So you're going to do a second calc 0 again. And left bound again. So you want to go just left of it. So you don't want to go too far. Like you can get really far away. Like I can be way up here, which is really far away from it. That's fine. Hit enter. Right bound. You can get really close to it, but I recommend giving yourself some distance. So there's good, closer. You hit enter again, and you always guess wherever you were at. That one actually works out nice. That's at -1.
Yeah. I think there's one more all the
And there's one
way.
more. Yeah, you got to do it again. Second calc. There are programs that do this for you, but I would recommend just learning how to do this. You also don't have to use the D-pad. You can actually enter numbers in. Um, but that gets a little tricky. You got to make sure you don't choose them. You make sure you get left and right of it. Like you could actually type 10 here for the left bound. See how it knew that it was right there. And you can actually like I know it's I don't know, I can type in like 15 for the right bound. I don't recommend this because it's more advanced. Um, but you can also guess points and then it'll do that as well. So that's 12.25.
Then she explained the how it has like the e to the negative
Yeah, that's
10. So
zero.
it's just yeah,
Or
basically zero. Yeah.
that means zero. Okay, the next thing we have to do is find the mins and the maxes. It's a similar procedure. You go to second calc. We're gonna
And the minimum.
find the min first because we're closer to it. So it says left bound again. So you
The
know the
left
min
bound
is
is
about there, but you go left of it, somewhere left of it. Enter, goes somewhere right of it, and enter, enter.
and
And that is,
she did explain the absolute and the one, but for the minimum maximum. So, but I think
okay,
both of these would be absolute or minimum or not absolute
this is a
because yeah,
relative min.
yeah, relative. That's what I was looking
Yeah.
for.
All right, so
So
then we got to do the max. You have to use the min or max appropriately, like that. So you got to trace all the way over there. That's kind of the hardest part. That's where, putting in numbers would be faster if you want to save some time in a test. Um, left of it, going right of it, guessing. So -5, comma 224. All right. So on the other screen, I've been labeling these so that we can answer the rest of the questions. But any questions on that before we go to the other screen?
no,
One more thing to get the y-intercept.
the
Couple of ways
y-intercept
to do
would
that.
be 0, comma negative 101.
Yeah. Now you can actually evaluate it at any value. So if you go to value, second calc value, if you do 0, you'll get that. But let's just say your teacher wanted it at some really obscure value like 5. It'll also give you that. So anyway, go back to the other screen. All right, so you now have all the information to answer this. You have the three x-intercepts, -8.25, -1, and 12.25.
Yeah, with
Y-intercept, like you said, good.
then yes, it'd be 0, comma negative 101. I was gonna say for the domain and range, it would just be from negative infinity to infinity for the domain, right?
Yep.
And then for the range, it'd be negative infinity.
So increasing and decreasing, you only hear about the x intervals. It's increasing from -infinity to this x value -5, comma, this x value to infinity.
Wouldn't it be
And then
union in the middle?
you can put a union if you want. It's not a domain, so you actually don't need that. But and then the end behavior is the same as before. Values. All right. I do unfortunately got to stop here today. I apologize. We'll tack on some time on Thursday. Just remind me. I'll be sure
All
to
right.
do that. And but I do got to stop here. Thank you very much, Karthik. I will see you.